shooting foul shots at basketball. You know, I used to be the stud in the basketball team. Now you go out to shoot and you can't even hit the backboard. It felt like that. It was so fun. So fun to be so far behind the aircraft, as they say. So the thing's moving along at 250 knots. My brain's moving along at about 50 knots. It was great fun. So thank you for keeping us covered. Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Those are some brave passengers.
Well, it's funnier than that. You make a good point. It was only the two of us, and it's interesting. The Cessna Citation is one of the very few jets. It's the largest of private jets that can be flown by one single pilot. So it was just myself and Nathan Thornberry, the CEO of the company. He is qualified to fly the Cessna Citation alone. It's rather rare. And it turns out the limit on those things, if you're curious, it has to do with the weight of the aircraft and certification by the FAA. And it's 13 or 14,000 pounds, and assuring that the cockpit configuration is appropriate. And then they do special training to the pilot to assure that they can do that. The only place where larger jet-powered aircraft are flown by a single pilot is U.S. military. So tell me about the adventures of your week, good.
Hey, well, you know, I hate to tell you, I was just reading the Cavendish banana, is on the way out. You know, what killed the Gros Michel, was one of a famous banana that was no longer grown for supermarkets, was Swimmissary Wilt. And they started growing the Cavendish as its replacement, and now Cavendish banana is got a new Swimmissary Wilt. So we're going to have there's going to be a change we're going to witness history, a change in banana cultivars, so they've got to change it because the banana business will be out of bananas, and that's not good. So the new cultivar is going to be coming out. But do
you expect to see that cultivar in supermarkets? I mean, we're going to move away from Cavendish in the supermarket.
We're going to be moving completely away from. We're going to be moving completely away from Cavendish. They will no longer have Cavendish in the supermarket because of Swimmissary Wilt, the same disease that killed Gros Michel, which was original banana. We started eating, 50 years ago, but now Cavendish has got susceptibility, so it's wiping out all the banana plantations. But nevertheless, I was thinking, we talk about so much about fruit, citrus. I was thinking, what are some great peach trees? Because I love peaches. They're a great fruit to grow here in the lower southeast. And
wait a minute. How does thinking about citrus lead you to peaches? You got me confused.
Well, how does citrus lead to peaches? I'm going to tell you.
Okay,
that's a great thing. But I'm going to tell you right at the end. I got the thing laid out.
I'm sitting on the edge of my seat.
But one thing about growing peaches in Florida, you got to have low chill hours. And without low chill hours, you're not going to have consistent fruit production. The tree's not going to grow well. So when you're purchasing a citrus tree, you want to look at the chill hour. I'm not a citrus tree, but a peach tree. You want to check out the chill hours. We want to be around maybe 150 to 100 chill hours. That's every hour under 40 degrees. And what that does is when you have the right amount of chill hours, you're going to have that burst in bloom. You're going to have the leaves consistently put on. Have you ever looked at our Bradford pears after we have a very, very cold winter that bloom spectacularly? And then when we have a very light winter, they're sporadic in their flowering, and the leaves are not coming on uniformly. So they're not the best tree here. But if you get a peach tree that has 100 to 150 chill hours, you're going to be in good shape. And some of the best ones that you can get in the lower southeast for fruit production is going to be Tropic Beauty, which is a very, pretty good sized tree, but not too large. UF Gem and UF Sun. These are some of the great trees that will produce in our climate zone. You want to make sure you're not your citrus. You got me all messed up on that one. Yeah, you want to make sure your peach tree's getting in the planted in, at least 8 hours of sun. Some shade in the late afternoon can be beneficial. I always feel that way. Consistent soil moisture. They're best planted where the water runs off the roof and keeps that soil moist, but not directly under the ledge. Usually that area where the water runs off the roof close to the house is going to be moist continuously. You'll get your best production out of that. A little bit of fertilizer in the spring, a good amount of pruning, to keep the tree productive, and low is some of the great benefits of it. But they have a beautiful look in the spring because they have beautiful flowers, so they have an ornamental value. But one of the interesting things about peach trees is that there's about 10,000 acres of peaches in the state of Florida being grown as a commercial crop. But because
what part of Florida do they tend to be in, Larry? Where are those 10,000 acres?
They're mostly in Central Florida. But because of citrus, getting back to the citrus thing, because of citrus greening, citrus farmers are slowly converting their citrus grows to peach orchards, and so that's a thing that's going. So Florida is going to be a new leading producer, hopefully, of peaches. And what makes a Florida peach a little different than say a Georgia peach or a peach grown in South Carolina is we have the non-melting kind, which is to our advantage, in crop production. It's more firm. It's not really soft, so it ships better. And they spliced in or they hybridized some gene in there for really good sweetness. They don't get that gigantic size, only around 2.5 inches, but they are definitely sweet. And they can hold on the tree longer and get more ripe. The melting kind, you got to pick a little early because they'll rot quickly on the tree. And the non-melting kind, with the kind that we were going to have in Florida, is the better variety because it can ripen stay on the tree longer and gets a sweeter and sweeter taste. So there's some great ideas on growing peaches. Peaches aren't that predominant. Most everybody has citrus trees, and they're becoming more and more predominant in the state of Florida.
What's the expectation of? Not here in New Jersey, yes. What's the expectation of the economics? Is this shift in crop, is that a positive economic for the farmer or a negative? And then at the grocer, is that going to cost us more for a peach or more for citrus, or will this balance out where it's good for the farmer and good for the consumer?
Well, the issue is that the good thing for the Florida farmer, the Florida peach grower, is that they can get pretty good money for their peaches because right as the Chilean peaches stop producing, the Florida peaches are in production. So they fill that gap in there between, the Georgia and the Chilean peaches because, we have peaches, you can pretty much get them any time of the year, and
right.
They're just, flown in from a different part of the world, from the southern hemisphere to the northern hemisphere. So the Florida farmer will have an advantage there, being the first peach in the United States that's produced for eating.
What's the lead time been on this? When you start thinking about a peach tree that's large enough to be commercially viable, how long has this been in the mix?
You're probably looking about 5 to 10 years before they start. There's 10,000 acres under cultivation in the state of Florida right now. South Carolina has about 15,000. In the state of Georgia has around 30,000 acres in production. So
that's significant. We're 10 to 20% of total acreage. That's impressive this early on.
Right. I was also reading, I've also reading about, how music and, that's always an interesting topic. How does music affect your plants? And, and it does. It has a positive effect. They've done some more research on it. And the music, but they've located the hertz frequency of the sound. It's between 115 to 250. And so that's your best sound range. And a 250 sounds like this. Let me see if I can do it. 250 on the hertz range is but so if you
That's
go
wonderful.
to your plants when you're watering them, or go, what is that thing? Do that meditation sound. That's what they like. So they like that sound. So what it does is they've decided what is exactly does it affect. It affects photosynthesis. It aids in photosynthesis and also helps the immune response of the plant. So that's what exactly, you get a little bit of photosynthesis, more energy. The plant looks more vigorous. So, if you're watering your plants, remember, and a little bit lower too, a little bit lower. If you got your radio voice, around that low frequency. So more bass. So, get your plants watered. Turn on a little bit of music. Some of the other things that I was looking at, people called me about, and I've been examining. Plant disease is always a confusing thing, whether it's insects or disease or nutrients, and we talked a little bit last week about it. But one thing that affects our plants or our shrubs, our trees, our grass is root disease in the state of Florida, because we get a good amount of rain. And a lot of times I was talking to a client where he had gotten a root disease on his shrub, but he kept spraying, fungicide on the leaves, thinking it was a fungus. And it wasn't. I said it was Phytophthora. And Phytophthora is a root disease that can affect trees, shrubs, grass, all kinds of plant material. And how do you distinguish if you got a root disease or if you've got an insect or a fungal disease? And what you're going to notice is that there's two different things. All of a sudden, the plant's uniformly going to be the leaves are going to look like they're wilting, desiccated, turning to grayish green and then brown. They don't even have time to drop off the tree. That means you got a very serious infection of the roots. And it could be another type of root disease besides Phytophthora, but it kills the plant within about a week. When you see that happen, the leaves drooping, they're uniform all the way around, and you only have about a couple days to affect the outcome. And you're going to have to, a treatment with Subdue is your best bet. Then also I see a lot of people ask me ilex, they have ilex, or they have juniper, where one branch will die. One branch will die, and it will be, and when you look closely at the leaves, they'll look desiccated. They don't look like they're brown or spotty like fungus would look, but they're uniformly desiccated. And that is one section of the roots have gotten infected with the disease. So that section that takes care of that branch has died. So that branch is going to die. The root section takes care of that branch is going to die, and then the branch will die. So you'll have these spots on a bush or tree or where it looks very desiccated, uniform, and when you look at the branch, very dry looking. So that would indicate you got Phytophthora or some type of root disease. Oftentimes it will move down the line too. You'll have a line of shrubs, and one will get the disease and die, and the next one will get the disease, and then maybe we'll skip over two and move to the next one. It's moved through the water. So you make sure that when you get that issue on a hedge line or a tree line, that you get a proper diagnosis and then treat fairly quickly, because it can
diagnosis has always been the key to everything. We'll have to get that diagnosis after the break. It's 6:23 here at News 104.5 on Home and Garden Show. Brief break, jumping right on the phone to your call. Love to see who the first player is today at 855-765-1045. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Technology is a beautiful thing. Take WOKV with you wherever you go. You'll get the latest breaking news, weather, and traffic, or your favorite talk shows everywhere. Download the WOKV app now. 104.5 WOKV, Jacksonville's news and talk.
If you love golf, you need to get this deal. 8 rounds of golf for less than $12 a round, plus card fees, with the Dream 18 golf card at great area golf courses like the Golf Club at Southampton, the Club at Osprey Cove, and Hidden Hills Golf Club. And this isn't just a golf cart. Get a free shirt from Baker Sports, a free hat at Dome Hats, and a free smoothie from Smoothie King, plus 15% off any purchase at Palm Beach Autographs. Go to ActionSportsJacksDream18.com to purchase the Dream 18 card for just $95. Hundreds of dollars in savings and the perfect gift.
If we learned anything in 2020, it's that life is unpredictable. There are some things that you just can't control. All the more reason why you need to appreciate and hold tight those special people in your life. That relationship you know you can count on no matter what. At Diamonds Direct, your love is our passion. Your relationship is why we exist, and we stand ready to help you create those memorable moments in 2021 that celebrate and solidify those unbreakable bonds. Our selection of precious rare diamonds has never been greater. From a simple 1-carat princess cut to a breathtaking 10-carat round brilliant, we have your perfect diamond in stock every day at the guaranteed best value price in America. And even in unpredictable times, Diamonds Direct's commitment to you will never waver. We promise the largest selection, the highest quality, the best value, the strongest warranties, and the most unforgettable experience. So as life gets back to normal this new year, remember, cling to the ones you adore by showing them how much they mean to you. And we'll always be here to help. Diamonds Direct.
When a client comes to our firm after an accident, we have the awesome responsibility of returning what was taken away from them. Loss of income and earning potential, past and future medical bills, pain and suffering, the loss of the enjoyment of life. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Our clients don't seek charity, they seek justice. They're looking to have their life back and property restored. Visit forthepeople.com to learn about your legal rights. There's only one Morgan & Morgan. Offices, Jacksonville.
What if you made the rules? In my house, that'd probably mean ice cream mandatory for breakfast. And if you were in charge of your wireless plan, you'd most likely do something to save yourself a bunch of money. Well, you're in luck, because when you get Xfinity Mobile and Internet together, you can save up to $300 a year on your wireless bill. And with Xfinity Mobile, you can choose the perfect data option for each person using it, from unlimited to shared data or a mix of each, all on one plan. Hey, you're making the rules here. Get Xfinity Mobile and Internet together for just $35 a month. You'll get Internet for 12 months with a 1-year agreement. And mobile with our 1 gig wireless data option. Go to Xfinity.com/save big. Call 1-800-XFINITY or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and auto pay. Ends 1/21/21. Restrictions apply. New performance starter customers only. Equipment taxes and fees extra and subject to change. After term regular rates apply. Wireless savings compares to averages of top providers. Xfinity Internet required.
Wally Conway here, Mr. Home Inspection from Home Pro Inspections, with important information about home warranties. At Home Pro Inspections, we have always recommended that every home buyer had a home inspection and a home warranty. It's much like having a physical exam and health insurance. They work together to protect you. Until now, I have never referred or endorsed a home warranty company because, truthfully, they were all about the same. They were only good for 12 months, they had a long list of coverage exclusions, and they denied pre-existing conditions. The most comprehensive home warranty in America is now available in Jacksonville, covering items denied by others, including water softeners, well pumps, alarm systems, and there's no extra charge for multiple heat pumps or water heaters. When Home Pro inspects your home, the warranty is extended to 18 months of coverage at no extra charge. There's no better inspection and warranty package in America. For details and to order your home warranty, visit GoHomePro.com, GoHomePro.com, or call me at 268-8211.
Over half of all men suffer from ED or PE. Here's a message from Prime Men's Medical Center.
Hi, I'm Dr. Rubinsky. If you're not the man you used to be in the bedroom and Viagra, Cialis, or Levitra have let you down, Prime Men's Medical Center offers custom blended medications. Men are lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer, and it's affordable.
Call 904-217-5646. See results on your first visit guaranteed or pay nothing. 904-217-5646.
Now, the WOKV First Alert Forecast.
An 8 on the WOKV weather meter. Mostly sunny, breezy, and chilly today. Highs in the upper 50s. Cold tonight. And inland frost and freeze where temperatures drop into the lower 30s. Mid to upper 30s for the intracoastal and the beaches. Your Sunday will be partly sunny. Pretty nice in the afternoon, reach near 60 degrees. Martin Luther King Day will be partly sunny, breezy, and cool in the upper 50s. Tuesday starts out with a bit of inland frost, then mostly sunny and milder, 60 to 65. And Wednesday will be partly sunny with highs in the mid to upper 60s. With your first alert forecast, I'm Action News Jax. Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish for 104.5 WOKV.
628 here on the Home and Garden Show at News 104.5 WOKV. As the sun rises and you look out upon your yard, you notice all the other yards in your neighborhood look better than yours. Consider this. Larry'sGarden.com's got the blog, the video, frequently asked questions. May just be able to give you the ideas you need to get your yard looking right. And if it just looks like more work or you're not interested in doing that work, Larry'sGarden.com, Larry and the crew can come on out and design the ultimate yard for you. They can then install all of the material, not only the landscape material and the lawn, but also the pavers, the hardscape, the ponds, the pergolas, and then they can maintain it for you if you so choose. Larry'sGarden.com, the telephone number is 346-1970. At Home Inspections, we'd be honored to take care of home inspection, termite inspection, and all other due diligence associated with that home that you put the contract on this week. We can take wonderful care of you. The website is GoHomePro.com. The telephone number is 904-268-8211, the home of the 18-month warranty and 5-year roof leak protection plan. It's 6:30 here at News 104.5 on the Home and Garden Show. We've got Fox News traffic, weather, and more of the Home and Garden Show featuring you at 855-765-1045. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Fox News, I'm Karen McHugh. It's not often that a president skips out on the swearing in of his successor, but it will happen again this year.
There was a moving truck outside the Eisenhower Executive Office building on Friday, where staffers were seen carrying out boxes. President Trump was noticeably quiet as he rounded out his last full week in office. He will not attend President-elect Joe Biden's inauguration. Instead, the president is expected to fly to Florida ahead of the swearing in at the U.S. Capitol. It will likely be his last flight on the presidential plane. Vice President Mike Pence will attend the inauguration.
Fox's Rachel Sutherland. Meanwhile, unprecedented security measures are underway in the nation's capital.
An inauguration rehearsal had to be rescheduled because of security concerns, and authorities are increasingly worried about armed protests across the country leading up to January 20th.
Fox's Lauren Blanchard. America is listening to Fox News.
Rain and thunderstorms are an everyday part of life in Northeast Florida. Action News Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish delivers the timing, impact, and most importantly, when skies clear up. Get the 5-day forecast 4 times an hour every weekday morning on Jacksonville's Morning News from 5 till 9 a.m. This is 104.5 WOKV, Jacksonville's News and Talk.
There's nothing like sitting down for a personal conversation with Eddie and Chuck from Farah and Farah. And you can do that every Saturday at noon on 104.5 WOKV. I'm Sky Young, and you can join me, Eddie, and Chuck every Saturday on the Consumer Law Hour, where they break down everything from personal injury to civil rights. Be a part of the conversation on the Consumer Law Hour, brought to you by Farah and Farah, every Saturday at noon on 104.5 WOKV, Jacksonville's News and Talk.
I'm Action News Jax Tanika Hughes, and one of the great things about living in Jacksonville is our diverse communities. It's so important that the local stories we cover in our newscasts reflect the people who live here. That's why we've launched Action News Jax Gets Real, to get real on issues like racism, housing challenges, and unequal access to health care. It's having difficult conversations, as well as celebrating people making a difference. This is Action News Jax Gets Real. Real talk, real change.
Do you wonder if you've already had COVID-19? Avicena is now providing rapid antibody tests that can be done with a finger stick. This test has a 100% sensitivity and will show if you have already developed COVID antibodies. Avicena is the leader in COVID-19 testing citywide. Both rapid COVID antigen and antibody tests are available at all 3 office locations, including our 2 drive-through sites in Jacksonville and St. Augustine. Visit Avicena.com to schedule your tests online.
Thinking about life insurance? What if you could make one free phone call and learn your best price from nearly a dozen highly rated, price-competitive companies? Well, that's exactly what happens when you call SelectQuote Life. For example, George is 40. He was getting sky-high quotes from other companies because he takes meds to control his blood pressure. But when I shopped around, I found him a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $25 a month. I'm SelectQuote agent Dan Savino. And believe me, if SelectQuote isn't shopping for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 800-573-9552. That's 800-573-9552. 800-573-9552. Or go to SelectQuote.com. Since 1985, we shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Or price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
Now, the WOKV First Alert Forecast.
Plenty of sun, but breezy and chilly today. Highs in the upper 50s and 8 on the WOKV weather meter. Cold tonight with an inland frost and freeze as temperatures drop into the lower 30s. It will stay in the mid to upper 30s for the intracoastal and the beaches. And your Sunday will be partly sunny and cool, a high of 59. Martin Luther King Day, Monday, partly sunny, breezy, cool in the upper 50s, a light inland frost Monday night. And then Tuesday will be mostly sunny with an afternoon high of 63. And Wednesday, partly sunny and milder, up to 67. From the First Alert Weather Center, I'm Action News Jax, Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish for 104.5 WOKV.
Welcome back to the Home of Guards. 634 WOKV. Larry O'Neill from Larry's Gardens here. I'm Walter Conway from Home Inspections. To check in with us with your question, your commentary, or just to say hello, the number is 855-765-1045. You know, Larry, one of the most common concerns we get from homeowners as well as homeowners after an inspection or just hanging out in their house is about cracks in their slab. They may see the crack in the driveway or the in the garage, or it may even be cracking right through hard tile in the house. And the question becomes, is this structural? Do I have a concern? What do I do next? I would say 95 to 98% of all residential concrete slabs have cracks. The question becomes, why do they crack? They crack typically for shrinkage. Often people will call them settlement cracks, but in truth, it's the shrinkage associated with the drying and curing of the concrete. Is it a problem, and do you need to take action? It is very rare that it is a structural problem. How could you tell as a layperson if it's worthy to have a home inspection company, a structural engineer, is it worthy of following up on? Here is a rule of the thumb. You can stick your thumb in the crack. That crack is a big, big deal. It should not be large. Little hairline crack, rarely a problem. One of the things you can do is attempt to stick a credit card in it. If a credit card won't fit into the crack, it would be very rare you need to spend any money to worry about it. It's just a cosmetic. One of the things that does indicate that you may have a problem is if the slab on each side of the crack is at a different height. If it's at a different height, that means something, in fact, has settled, and that crack has transitioned from a stress crack or shrinkage crack to a settlement crack. And if you have dissimilar settling, it probably is worth having it looked at. But typically, it doesn't need a corrective action. If you need a corrective action, what do you do then? There are several ways to correct it, that is, get it back to its original position of level and close the crack. One is by pumping and expanding foam under the section that has settled in the area where the settlement has occurred. And the other is by using piers and jack type systems. That is not an inexpensive item, and it's thankfully rare that you need it. But that routine crack that you see in your tile, you see in your garage floor, rarely is that worthy of spending money. Treat it as a cosmetic and live happily ever after. One of the things to consider is, what did my landscape guy do to make my slab crack? And Larry, you know, if we get those trees, especially those that have large roots and surface roots too close to the house, we're going to begin to lift and crack things. How big of a root, let's say on an oak, how big on if we make the determination together or collectively that an oak tree root is lifting the slab, how large of a root or how big of a root area can be root trimmed or removed before we start worrying not only about the structure of the house, but as importantly for you, the life and health of that tree?
Well, that's a good question. Well, if the tree is young, it's going to survive a lot easier than a tree is older. That's the number one thing to consider. And if you have an oak tree that's already there and it's young, start pruning the roots when it's younger. Don't wait until the last minute. So if you notice the tree's developing roots that are leading to the foundation, say when that are maybe 10 feet away, let's start cutting them. And winter's the best time to take care of that. When the tree is, let's say, 5 feet, 4 feet away from the foundation, that's risky on an older tree. Definitely can cause a root disease, or you can get infection of funguses through that. So you got to be careful. Ideally, you want to make sure preventative medicine is always easier, and make sure that the tree is planted at least 20, 15 feet away. If it's a large, like magnolia, liquid ambar, which would be the sweet gum, live oak, all these trees that have large buttress roots, those are those roots that stick really large or close to the surface. Those are,
and it's important that the person is considering how large will that tree be at maturity, not how large is it the day it was planted.
Right,
get it out away from the house. What are some trees that I could choose if I needed to cast a little shade over a window? Some trees that might grow vertical very well, where I wouldn't have the risk of a root climbing under my slab, as well as a lesser chance of the canopy overhanging or abrading on the roof. A good vertical grower without a root.
That's a great question. This is not a common tree. But we have them. It's called the Japanese evergreen oak, and it's very, very slow growing. And it's an evergreen. It's an evergreen tree. It's not deciduous. It's like a live oak. So that's a great one. Another great native tree that gets somewhat of a good-sized canopy, but not oppressive, is going to be the winged elm, which I think is a beautiful tree, has beautiful fall color, has a nice structure on its branches. It has these little so-called wings along its branches, and the fall color is consistent, getting that yellow foliage on it in the fall. So there's one right there. You could plant. Also, if you have say 1 story, you could plant maybe a prunus tree. You have to see prunus. If you like flowering tree, you can plant a Chinese. Taiwanese cherry tree, which is a small tree that doesn't have a large root system. You want to look at things that have don't get more than around 20 feet tall when they're fully mature. That would be the best.
Let me ask you about a tree that we had in our backyard growing up in New Jersey. We had a row of poplar, and they were probably 5 or 6 feet apart, and they were probably 20 plus feet tall, maybe toward 30, and they were sufficiently close, mature, and dense. It was almost like a hedge that was 20 feet tall. And we used it as a wiffle ball backstop. It was, down one entire length of the yard. Yeah. Will poplar survive in our climate zone?
Yeah, poplar survive here. That's a good thing, good question, because there's a poplar. There's a dwarf, kind of a dwarf. It's called the Little Volunteer. It's a dwarf poplar, only getting around 25 to 30 feet tall. And I think the best benchmark to decide whether a tree is going to have large buttress roots is going to be the size. And so if you look at the terminal growth size around 25 to 30 feet, you're pretty safe to plant it closer to the building. You're safer and plant it close to the building, because it's not going to develop those, 10-inch roots, they're going to be pushing up on a foundation. Their roots are only going to be maybe 3 to 4, and they're not going to have the capacity to do that. We were putting in a masonry wall, and we were working around a liquid ambar, which is a sweet gum. And some of their buttress roots, I think it was around 12 to 14. It was an old sweet gum tree, but it was 12 to 14 inches. I mean, that would easily lift a foundation. And one of the things, I was driving down that Nocatee, and I was driving down that road. I forget the name of the road, but they had all these live oaks only about 12 inches from the curb and another 24 inches from the sidewalk. I was thinking, oh my gosh, that was some bad planning. The whole sidewalk's going to be busted out, the curb busted out. A lot of times in these subdivisions where they would, mandate, live oaks so close to the house in these smaller, lot size, next to the driveway, they're just nothing but problems, and it's going to add to the additional cost of pruning over the lifetime of the, you living there. Probably could add $3,000 to the cost of owning that tree, because there's a cost of owning a large tree, especially when you have it up next to the house, and it can be $3,000 to $5,000. Depends on if you have to take it down or it does serious damage to walkway or the driveway.
That's just the expense of
crushed.
the tree, not even counting the curbing and the paving and all the other damage. It drives me nuts to see that occur.
All those issues, it could add to cost. You're having a house built, they have live oaks in there. Change it out, with a winged elm. That would be your best. It's a nice, moderately sized tree. It's very durable, and it has a beautiful shape. So that's your best bet on that. Or the little volunteer poplar. Now, they're probably not going to have that because that's a specialty tree, but the winged elm is your best bet.
Something for people to keep in mind, too, when we start thinking about using the tree for shade to keep these direct sunlight off of the window, off of the roof. We want to get those, if we have them tall enough, there's no need for them to overhang. So once that thing gets to be 20 or 30 feet tall, it'll be able to cast shade on your roof and on your windows, all but maybe high noon. And if you only have that 1 hour or so of direct sunlight falling on the roof, that's a good thing for the roof, for its durability. You don't have the UV light destroying it. And it's also good for your energy efficiency in summer, so your attic is not getting quite as hot, and hence your HVAC system doesn't run as long. So getting things to go vertical to cast a shadow, rather than having branches hanging over and abrading on the roof and depositing debris on the roof and into the gutters, is a real good way to go if you just think it through. In particular, if you position them appropriately, east, south, west, as opposed to putting them on the north, where you accomplish nothing at all in the form of shade. And I know you've seen that, where folks they put this beautiful string of trees along the north side of the house, and those look beautiful. I did it for energy efficiency and to shade my windows. And that's not going to do any good, man. So what are you going to do?
Yeah.
It's all good.
You can use palms too. Palms, if you like tropical plants. Palms can normally be planted a little close to the house, and they have that canopy as they mature. If they're healthy, they get a pretty good sized canopy. If you're planting them in threes, I would plant them in threes so they get that nice large shade canopy. So palms is another consideration, and you're not going to have the type of issues with a live oak you have palms, because the roots of palms are very small, but they're
still
a huge mass of them, but they're normally very small.
Still keep it a bit from the house, though. That debris does stain.
Yeah, you still need to keep it from the house, because they'll push up against the foundation instead of growing underneath the foundation. But they can get a little closer. No problem. There shouldn't be any problem on this. All right.
I was thinking about roof life there. We get the call very often. Hey, I just had a brand new roof installed, and I'm getting a lot of granules from my new roof. I see them in my gutter. I see them at the discharge of the downspout, or for those without gutters, they may see it on a drive or other area of the home. When that new roof is installed, it's very common for it to shed some amount of granules during the installation and kind of welcoming home process. That's not that big a deal, nothing to be concerned of. That granule loss should be sufficiently slight, though, where you're not seeing the mat or underlayment, matrix underlayment, whatever it's called, of the shingle itself. So you shouldn't see it look blotchy, just shedding from the manufacture process and the install process. If your roof is, once it gets to be 6 months or a year old, that granulization should stop or slow dramatically. The next time you'll see significant granule shedding is as the roof is nearing the end of its life. It's just given up the ghost, off come the granules, and that really begins to accelerate the degradation. And the reason is the granules are put on the roof to protect the underlayment from UV light. And as the granules shed and you start seeing blotchy areas in your roof shingle, that UV light, and it's rough here in Florida, shines right down on it, and we begin to get cracks in it. They become very, very brittle, and the next thing you know, you've got not much left in the roof. So a little bit of granule early, not a problem. Then it should slow dramatically. If you see it begin to accelerate again, that's telling you it's getting very, very near the end of the life. That shedding, though, doesn't really have anything to do with the roof leaking or not leaking. It has to do with protecting the roof so that it is not so brittle and damaging. So what usually ends up happening, it gets near the end of its life, it's a bit brittle and cracked. We get a good rainstorm with a heavy bit of wind, and it starts peeling those shingles off. And then as the shingles come off, that's when we're getting the water under there, and you get some leakage. It's 6:50 here at News 104.5 on the Home and Garden Show. And right to the calls. Love to hear from you at 855-765-1045. Stay with us. Right back.
If news is your thing, you're in the right place. Local, national, breaking, all in the palm of your hand. Download the WOKV app and tap the newsfeed button. We've got you covered. 104.5 WOKV, Jacksonville's news and talk.
The hardest part of any goal is oftentimes getting started. All month long, we're going to help you get started on the path for a happier you for free. To hear from our experts and check out upcoming shows from personal health to your home's health, visit GetStartedJax.com.
Have you been lied to? Lied to by Washington politicians and the Wall Street propaganda machine? Hi, I'm Inc. Magazine best-selling author Brett Kitchen, and if you're over 55 with an IRA or 401k, I want to give you a free copy of my new book, Wealth Beyond Wall Street, because according to Time Magazine, Wall Street's 401ks have failed millions of Americans. After losing 35% in my IRA and the crash years ago, I said enough. And since then, I discovered a way to grow money potential double digits, reduce taxes dramatically, and also have my money protected when the next stock market crash hits. When the next market crash hits, you lose nothing. Call Wealth Beyond Wall Street now to get your free book and talk to a specialist to discover this little-known strategy to get potential double-digit growth during good years and never lose in the market crashes. Call 800-476-5151 to discover this asset that people like Walt Disney and JCPenney use to grow wealthy. Plus, when you call right now, you get free shipping and handling, no credit card required. And I'll send you a free copy of the audiobook so you can listen in your car. Call 800-476-5151. 1-800-476-5151. That's 1-800-476-5151.
Newsmax TV is the biggest thing on cable news, with shows including Dick Morris, Rudy Giuliani, Michelle Malkin, Diamond and Silk, Mike Huckabee, and more. Every night, watch Newsmax's #1 show, Greg Reports. Greg Kelly tells you the big stories you won't hear anywhere else. Newsmax is on all major cable systems. Check your guide or tell your operator you want Newsmax. 30 million Americans watch Newsmax TV. And download the Newsmax app on your smartphone. It's free, so get Newsmax TV anytime, anywhere.
Financial advisors, remember when your job was fun? I'm Ron Kraszewski, CEO of Stifel, and at our firm, it still is fun. Here, you'll find the culture and values of the past, along with the technology and vision of the future. Stifel is a firm built by advisors for advisors, a place where you can better serve your clients and have some fun again in our business. Visit ChooseStifel.com to learn more about the investment firm you've been waiting for.
Hi, I'm Larry of Larry's Garden. One of my favorite things about the South is great weather, which means more time for outside. And at Larry's Garden, we design, install, and maintain every outdoor project. Need to replace a cracked driveway? We do it. Need a patio, pergola, deck, or pavers? We do it. Let one company, Larry's Garden, complete your entire project. no subcontractors. All work is done by Larry's Garden employees. Low water landscapes, sod replacement, landscape designs that are unbelievable, a complete landscape makeover, we do it. Let one company, Larry's Garden, complete your entire project. Weekly maintenance for communities and commercial locations is also available. For more information, visit larrysgarden.com or call 346-1970. Design, install, maintain. One company, complete project, Larry's Garden.
When you own a business with your name on it, there's nowhere to hide. You either go above and beyond for your customers, work the late shifts and weekends, and demand perfection out of yourself and your team, or you don't last. Hi, everybody. Brian Kilmeade here. And here's what I know about Rick Wakehoff. Over the last 20 years, he's built Wakehoff's Air Conditioning into Jacksonville's premier air conditioning company. Rick and his team will not compromise. They outperform the competition to be the most clean, smart, and professional AC company out there. It's why so many of your neighbors rely on Wakehoff's. They'll tell you that Wakehoff's is there when you need them the most and standing by even when you don't need them. Wakehoff specializes in residential AC service and installation. It's what they do each and every day, which is why they're the best at it. Wakehoff's focuses on the things that matter most, like great customer experience that's always pleasant and professional. Over 1,800 Google reviews back up the excellent service that Wakehoff's offers. So call Rick. Call him and his team today, 880-5525, or visit wakehoffsac.com.
Now, the WOKV First Alert Forecast.
An 8 on the WOKV weather meter. Mostly sunny, breezy, and chilly today. Highs in the upper 50s. Cold tonight. An inland frost and freeze where temperatures drop into the lower 30s. Mid to upper 30s for the intracoastal and the beaches. Your Sunday will be partly sunny. Pretty nice in the afternoon, reach near 60 degrees. Martin Luther King Day will be partly sunny, breezy, and cool in the upper 50s. Tuesday starts out with a bit of inland frost, then mostly sunny and milder, 60 to 65. And Wednesday will be partly sunny, with highs in the mid to upper 60s. With your First Alert Forecast, I'm Action News Jax, Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish for 104.5 WOKV.
6:55 here at 104.5 WOKV on the Home and Garden Show, featuring Larry O'Neill from Larry's Garden and me, Wally Conway from Home Pro Inspections. Grateful to be with you. Larry had an interesting call from my daughter Joyce yesterday. She had an HVAC technician come to the home to do the cleaning. She's been in the house about a year. I said, okay, I'm going to have it up. The technician said, uh-oh, check this out, Miss Conway. You've got some black funky stuff growing in this area of your air handler. And she says, oh, well, let me see. And he showed it to her, had the cover off. It was inside the air handler. And she said, what is it? And he said, I don't know. I can't say, but you need to buy a UV light or it could get you. And she said, well, what can get me? And he said, this stuff. She said, what stuff is it? She says, I don't know, but it could get you. This is a preposterous sales position. Now, let's talk about this. What is that stuff growing in your air handler? It's virtually always mold. Let's just fess up and use the word. It's mold. Why is it mold? It's mold because it's moist in there, and the things that blow through your air handler support mold. There's pet dander and human dander and all kinds of other dust and funk and stuff in there. That's why you clean it. The technician even said, I can't clean that off. This is preposterous. This is preposterous. Don't let that happen to you. To the question of the UV light, is it reasonable to install a UV light in your air handler? Well, it's very reasonable. If you'd like to have that extra layer of protection, the UV light will kill molds. It will kill bacteria, viruses, and other things that may grow there. But the entering position on this is use good quality filters and twice a year, semi-annually, have everything cleaned out. And it's not expensive. It's maybe $100 each visit, plus or minus 25, depending on the company and how thoroughly they do the cleaning. You want to change that filter at least once a quarter. If you have lots of pets and children and in and outs and keep your doors and windows open all the time, you may choose to do it monthly. That's okay. If you'd like to have the UV light, who does the UV light tend to make sense for? It makes sense that a person who has COPD or immunocompromised or other things that relate to breathing challenges and you need a super clean environment as though you were in a hospital room or a surgical center, you go, you know what? I'm going to spend the $300 to $500 for the UV light, and I'm going to have quality filters, and I'm going to have regular cleaning so that my system can be as clean as practically possible so I could breathe the best quality air possible. If you don't have the UV light, can you still be clean and safe? Absolutely. If you have the UV light, will you be a little bit cleaner and a little bit safer? Maybe. Because here's the deal. If you're using good filters and you're cleaning regularly, having professional cleaning is my suggestion of that coil in the area, there isn't really anything on there for the UV light to kill. So keep it clean, keep quality filters, and for a little bit of extra, if you feel that you need it, yes, you could have the UV light. Do not succumb to scare tactics to buy things. If you're in doubt, call us here on the show and we'll talk about it. Call at the office and we'll talk about it. Scaring people is not an appropriate sales tactic. Informing people is a very good tactic, and protecting people is a very good tactic. Scaring has no place in Home and Garden. It's 7 a.m. here at News 104.5 on the Home and Garden Show. We've got Fox News traffic, weather, and more of the Home and Garden Show featuring you at 855-765-1045. We'll be right back.
WOKV-FM Atlantic Beach, broadcasting from the Talon Wealth Management Studio. Listen everywhere in the TuneIn Radio app. 104.5 WOKV, a Cox Media Group station. This is 104.5 WOKV, Jacksonville's news and talk.
Word of another warning before the Capitol riot. I'm Pam Huso, Fox News. 3 days ahead of the attack that left 5 people dead, an internal Capitol Police intelligence report warned that Congress itself could be targeted by supporters of President Trump desperate to overturn the results of the election. Portions of the report were obtained by the Washington Post. In the aftermath of the attack, serious security failures have been highlighted.
Retired Lieutenant General Russell Honore will lead an effort to evaluate Capitol Hill security, appointed to that job by House Speaker Nancy Pelosi.
An immediate review of security infrastructure, interagency processes, and command and control.
An after-action report is expected in the aftermath of the January 6th riot, as thousands of National Guard troops are now deployed to protect the federal district during next week's inauguration.
Fox's Jared Halpern. The FBI is warning of armed protests around the country in the lead-up to Wednesday's event. As federal authorities track down riot suspects, they're walking back allegations that those who stormed the Capitol had hoped to capture and assassinate elected officials. One day after unveiling his plan for coronavirus relief, President-elect Joe Biden explained how he plans to vaccinate 100 million Americans in his first 100 days.
We'll use the Defense Production Act to work with private industry to accelerate the making of materials needed to supply and administer the vaccine.
Biden says he'll also jumpstart efforts to get vaccine doses to local pharmacies. Fears of aftershocks and a possible tsunami prompted thousands of people in Indonesia to spend the night outdoors. Yesterday's 6.2 magnitude earthquake killed at least 46 people. Rescue efforts are being hampered in part by damaged roads and power outages. America's listening to Fox News.
Whether your kids are standing at a bus stop or at the kitchen table, start your day the right way. Prepared. Get the first alert forecast with Action News Jack's chief meteorologist Mike Burrish every 6 minutes on Jacksonville's Morning News on 104.5 WOKV, Jacksonville's news and talk.
Water treatment systems are being advertised, sold, and installed, claiming to produce soft water. Some companies just filter out chemicals, taste, and odor, claiming to provide soft water. Well, true soft water is produced through a process called ion exchange, which uses low levels of salt during regeneration. Affordable Water is licensed to provide the highest quality water. Affordable Water will test your water at no charge and provide a quote at no obligation. Call Affordable Water at 904-262-0197. License number W32.
Struggling with CPAP? Now there's Inspire, the only FDA-approved obstructive sleep apnea treatment that works inside the body to treat the root cause of sleep apnea with just the click of a button. No mask, no hose, just sleep. Visit InspireSleep.com to learn more.
In 2021, our friends at buildinghomesforheroes.org, they're helping our brave vets who are homeless, those disabled, those who are struggling, PTSD, even suicidal thoughts resulting from their injuries, protecting our freedoms. And with your support, the organization, they hope to gift a record number, 40 homes this year, and provide emergency funding to help vets, their families, through these very difficult times. But they can't do it without all of our support. Yes, I personally have been supporting Building Homes for Heroes. It's a charity of mine that I just have a passion about. And their mission, they've helped hundreds of vets and their families every year, and they're doing it this year as well, and I hope you'll join us. Now, you can join buildinghomesforheroes.org. They turn hope into dreams that come true and make you proud. Just visit buildinghomesforheroes.org, support our wounded heroes, and together we can give them hope. Now, please contact buildinghomesforheroes.org. That's buildinghomesforheroes.org.
Don't be a victim of the door-knocking and storm-chasing roofers' fine print contracts. Jack C. Wilson Roofing is Northeast Florida's oldest and most trusted roofer with no hidden fees. Visit jackcwilsonroofing.com. Jack C. Wilson Roofing, the first name in Jacksonville roofing.
After a long day, having my dogs greet me at the door with their silly smiles and wagging tails makes me happy. I want to keep that joy with me for years to come. That's why I trust Forever Vets Animal Hospital to keep my pets healthy. Forever Vets was voted 2019's best vet in Jacksonville Magazine's Readers Poll, and it's easy to see why. The affordable wellness plans are tailored to meet all of your pets' changing needs as they grow. Open 7 days a week, Forever Vets friendly staff is available to treat you and your pet with care. They combine extended hours with online booking to allow you to give your pet quality care while accommodating your schedule. Go online to forevervets.com to find which of their 9 locations is nearest you. And don't forget their newest location in Bartram Market. Forever Vets Animal Hospital, keeping your pets happy and healthy forever.
What if the music stopped? If the familiar voices were silenced? If there were no breaking news updates? What if your companion and connection to your community came with a monthly fee? Don't worry, we're free local radio with you wherever you go, celebrating 100 years and looking forward to the next 100. We are broadcasters. Text radio to 52886 and let Congress know you depend on your local TV and radio stations. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Now, the WOKV First Alert Forecast.
Plenty of sun, but breezy and chilly today. Highs in the upper 50s and 8 on the WOKV weather meter. Cold tonight with an inland frost and freeze as temperatures drop into the lower 30s. It will stay in the mid to upper 30s for the intracoastal and the beaches. And your Sunday will be partly sunny and cool, a high of 59. Martin Luther King Day, Monday, partly sunny, breezy, cool in the upper 50s. A light inland frost Monday night. And then Tuesday will be mostly sunny with an afternoon high of 63. And Wednesday, partly sunny and milder, up to 67. From the First Alert Weather Center, I'm Action News Jax, Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish for 104.5 WOKV.
This is the WOKV Ask the Experts Weekend, discussing things that matter most to you. Local experts answering your questions. Call 855-765-1045. That's 855-765-1045. Now, the Home and Garden Show with Wally Conway and Larry O'Neill.
It's 7:05 here on a beautiful Saturday morning in Jacksonville, Florida. For those of you just joining us, you're listening to the Home and Garden Show. The Home and Garden Show is heard every single Saturday from 6 until 8 a.m. right here at 104.5 WOKV. The Home and Garden Show features Larry O'Neill from Larry's Garden, bringing us 25 plus years toiling in the soil, all things landscape, hardscape, ponds, and pergolas. Larry's mission here on the show every week is to share with you what's going on this week in landscape, what's problems they've solved for their customers, what's happening seasonally that you should be doing to optimize the health, wellness, and reduce the expense of having a beautiful landscape. Me, Wally Conway from Home Pro Inspections, bringing you 25 plus years, crawling about in attics and crawl spaces, sharing with you those things that our customers have discovered in their home during the course of the week, those things that we should be doing seasonally to protect our homes, as well as both of us answering your questions. We really enjoy you checking in to share what's happening in your home and garden. The number to do so is 855-765-1045. one of the things that is discovered very often in a home inspection when the electric panel is removed, and virtually never does the homeowner remove the electric panel, is we discover that someone has been in there, could have been a previous homeowner, could have been an electrician who wasn't quite doing what he should, and they do what's called a multiple tap. Well, what in the world is a multiple tap? Let's imagine that you wanted an extra receptacle in your family room to accommodate your new big screen TV. So they weaved a wire through the wall, up into the attic and back down into the panel. Lo and behold, there's no extra breaker there. That new circuit should ideally have its own breaker, but instead of putting in a new breaker, they make the decision, well, I'll just unscrew the lug holding this wire and add another wire in there and screw it back down. That is not supposed to happen. That is called a multiple tap or double tap. The reason that's not supposed to happen is it changes how that lug makes contact with the wire. When there's not sufficient surface-to-surface contact on the wire, what happens is we're moving the same amount of current across a smaller space, and you run the risk of it getting hot. Hot is not good. In electric, the only thing that should get hot is things that are intended to make heat, like your coffee maker and your heater, as an example. Maybe your curling iron, if you're so inclined. So that multiple tap should not be there. Now, what are you going to do about that? Well, ideally, there'll be additional room in your panel to add another breaker. Not expensive. The breaker might be $50 at the most. And the person, the electrician, was already there to run the wire, so there's really no additional labor cost to do it right. If there's no additional space, you say, oh my goodness, there's more breakers than there's, every slot has a breaker in it. There's what's called a duplex or multiplex breaker. It's skinnier. It's a slim line breaker. Often you can put two in the place of one. There are also other companies that manufacture the breaker, and this will vary with the panel, where you can accommodate two into in a vertical stack that's legal to do or appropriate to do according to the manufacturer. So if during a home inspection or if during you're having a repair or renovation, the electrician says, hey, you've got some multiple taps in here. I'd like to fix this for you by the addition of a breaker or changing to an appropriate breaker. That is the right thing to do. You will have fewer breakers tripped that way because you're not increasing the load on the individual breaker, and you will be in a safer, better position. Larry, I know you've had a good relationship over the years when you're doing your exterior lighting to have that breaker box, that panel type work, the electrical work internal to the home and the panel done by American Electrical. We've had real good luck with them also. They've been a wonderful service to us.
We've had great luck with them. Anytime we're doing an outdoor pond or we need a new electrical outlet for lighting or anything like that, they come out, they're quick, they're clean. It's always good installation.
One of the things to consider also when you're making a change in your home is, what about a handyman? Well, handyman in a generic term typically is secret code for unlicensed contractor. Is it okay to have an unlicensed contractor in your home? Depending on what the activity is, the answer is yes. Painters are not licensed by the state, as an example. So would a painter be an unlicensed contractor? Yes, they would. Is that okay? It's absolutely okay. When we get into electrical work, there isn't one single item of electrical work that doesn't require it be done by a licensed electrician. Does it happen all the time? Yes, it does. But it's important to know that it should be done by a licensed contractor, everything electrical. And in the purchase and sale process, if you happen to read the purchase and sale agreement, which most people don't do, they look to make sure the numbers are right sometimes, and then they sign it, but they don't really read the rest of the contract. In a purchase and sale agreement in our area, virtually every single purchase and sale agreement has a repair paragraph or a repair addendum, and that paragraph or addendum virtually always requires that all repairs be done by appropriately licensed people. Why is that a big deal? Because if you're the seller of the home and you've agreed to make the repair at the request of that home buyer, and you have that repair done by an unlicensed person, you've actually breached the contract. Do you get caught? Almost never. But the point of fact is, nothing matters until it matters, and when it does matter, it matters a whole lot, either in a sense of performance of the repair, the liability for the lack of performance of that repair, the insurability of that repair, all rolls back to that work being done by the licensed person and appropriately permitted. So you want to be sure, trust and verify, help you with that. And I know that Larry and the Larry's Garden Crew, when your landscape requires anything electrical or anything that requires permit, those permits are obtained. They're typically obtained, by Larry and his crew when it's appropriate to, say, irrigation, and they're obtained by others when, and the example of the electrical, it would be that electrical contractor doing the appropriate permitting. What permit challenges do you typically up against, Larry, in the landscape universe, in particular the residential landscape universe?
Basically, if you have to add an electrical outlet for, a lighting, or they wanted to have just not too much, irrigation, of course. And then we're a licensed pest control operator, so we can spray. That's supposed to be not a permit, it's supposed to be licensed to do that. It's not as like building a home is not as much, as it's required by that. But some of the things is I've been fruit have been ripening. And the grapefruits are starting to ripen a little bit. I tried this new grapefruit called Oro Blanco. Have you ever tried that one before? Did you ever picked it up at a specialty store?
Not to my knowledge. I love grapefruit. I'm not familiar. My taste buds are not familiar with that particular varietal.
But this one is a white grapefruit, and usually ripe grapefruits are, not as sweet. But this one, Oro Blanco, is one of the sweetest grapefruits. It was a cultivar derived in 1958 in California. But it's a cross between a pomelo and a grapefruit. But one of the things that makes grapefruit kind of that, bitter taste to them is naringia. It's a flavonoid. And you're not going to find it in the Oro Blanco and Star Ruby and Rio Flame. These are going to be your red grapefruit. Reds are going to be, versus pink, we have reds and pinks. Reds are going to be the least amount of bitterness and more sweet. So when you're picking a grapefruit, if you love the sweetness of a grapefruit, if you love a sweet grapefruit versus, some of the bitter ones, these are some great choices. Star Ruby, Rio Flame, and Oro Blanco. They're going to get a little larger. The Oro Blanco is a smaller grapefruit. I will mention that it was a smaller grapefruit. Grapefruits can produce, 250 to 300 pounds of fruit. When they're mature, they can get, as large as, 20 to 30 feet tall. I've seen them as tall as a 2-story house, before. So it's, you're going to make sure you're going to look, if you're planting one, that, you get one that's appropriate in size to the area you're planting. But a little bit of cold right now. Grapefruit is tasting great. Add that to your citrus collection. But some of the things you want to do when you're planting grapefruit is making sure that it's high in above the surface. As far as what I'm saying is a little bit of a mounded area. But again, citrus doesn't like to stand in water. And it's a good time right now to compost all your citrus trees and including your grapefruit tree. When you're planting it, make sure you put a little bit of a compost in the hole. But this is the time now to break out your pruners and your loppers and your reciprocal saw. The reciprocal saw is the most handiest gardening tool. I mean, tell you, you could cut roots, versus cutting it with an axe, pounding away.
And you can get a lot of nice battery-powered ones now. A nice battery-powered reciprocating saw for those small jobs, no cord.
Oh yeah, you can transplant a shrub with a reciprocal saw lift it and out of the ground, a large one. I'm talking about maybe a viburnum that's 15 feet tall. You can get that thing out of the ground probably 30 minutes. And this is the time of year when you want to think about transplanting. So you take your reciprocal saw and you put a long blade on it, and you get your stick it right in the soil, and you kind of go around the shrub in a kind of a cone shape. And once you get all the way around the shrub, you're in great shape. Get a nice strong shovel and prise right up. So moving shrubs right now is the best time. Winter in our climate, in our zone, is the best time for planting. If you want to have boxes to move. Also, it's a time to think about reduction. So if you have a large viburnum or a large azalea, if you don't want to, you won't miss the flowers on the azalea. This is the time. Even boxwoods. If your boxwoods are, let's say, 2 feet or 2.5 feet high, and you want them bound down to 6 inches, cut the boxwood down to bound 6 or 8 inches off the ground. Not a problem. They'll come back with a vengeance, and they'll look great. So you want to make sure that you put a good amount of fertilizer on them in spring. Also, crepe myrtle reduction. This is the best time when it's getting cold, and then late January, early February, cutting off the crepe myrtles and getting them. If that's your style, I don't really do that. Don't recommend it, but people want to know when they do it. This is the time to do it. So moving shrubs, reduction of shrubs is the key thing right now. A lady called me the other day and said she had these, those knobs, the crepe myrtles developed when they've been pruned or hat racked for so many years. Asked me if they were cut off, does it really affect the crepe myrtle? No, it does not affect the crepe myrtle at all. It will just create new knobs, you know what I mean, over a period of time. You're not going to notice. You're not going to notice any difference. You're not going to know. She was so worried. Her husband cut off the little knobs of the crepe myrtles. She was worried, oh, my gosh, the crepe myrtle's never going to be the same. No, it's not. In fact, I would say, normally disease is going to develop in those little knobs, over a period of time. So I would say having a new knob or new cutoff point is better for the plant because there's less probability it's going to get some either gall or some type of fungus there. So
and the official Home and Garden Show position is on crepe murdering. We don't support crepe murdering.
We don't
Let that baby just flourish. If it needs a little bit of trim, do it. It's 7:20 here at News 104.5 on the Home and Garden Show. Brief break, jumping right back to the phones to your calls at 855-765-1045. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
No matter where your office is, we make listening to WOKV as easy as it gets. Alexa, hey Google, play WOKV. Give your favorite smart speaker a shout to get the latest news and talk from 104.5 WOKV.
So you're a small business, or a big one. You were thriving, but then, you encountered an obstacle. So how do you bounce back? You don't. You bounce forward. Time to think, plan, pivot. With Comcast Business and powerful connectivity, get serious internet that lets you go bigger. All powered by the nation's largest gig speed network. So you can do more searching, more sharing, more shipping. Which means you've got more time for planning, for making, for running the show. That sounds great if everyone's in the office. But what if no one's in the office? Bring the office to them. From bandwidth at HQ to bandwidth at home. But is your network secure? Of course it's secure. It helps protect connected devices. But how do you do this? You don't do this. We do this together. Be fast, be flexible, be ready for what's next, and bounce forward with Comcast Business. Go to ComcastBusiness.com to learn more.
Hey, it's Mark Hay from The Mark Hay Show for OpenDoor.com. And you know how you get paid and you race to look at your paycheck to make sure that all the money you owe or that's owed to you is there? At least that's what I do every other Friday of the month. Well, the same is true of your home. You should race to see what your home's value is so you know just how much money you have tied up in your home or how much it's worth should you want to sell. And OpenDoor.com is the best way to do that, IMHO. Go to OpenDoor.com. They'll tell you the real fair market value of your home here in Jacksonville or wherever you happen to to live. Hundreds of thousands of people all over the country have done it and are doing it every day. Opendoor.com. And if you want to sell your home, if you're like, whoa, my home's worth that much, I'll take that money and run, then Opendoor.com will buy your home from you as well. You don't have to worry about all the hassles of selling your home. It all starts by going to opendoor.com/myoffer. That's opendoor.com/myoffer. Go there today, find out the real value of your home, and even sell it. Opendoor.com/myoffer. Offer eligibility varies.
All offers are with approved credit and not in conjunction. See dealer for complete details. Start something new sales event. Happy New Year! It's a new year and a new start. Everyone is welcome to celebrate with us at your #1 hometown dealer, Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, Bay Meadows. Get a new Compass Latitude and save $4,500. Drive a brand new Jeep Cherokee and save up to $5,000 off MSRP. Ride the Jeep Wave with a worry-free maintenance program at no additional cost. Save up to $8,000 on a new Ram truck. Get 0% financing. Charger and Challenger are sale priced, and nobody has a better selection than us. See our inventory at JASCJGR.com. Get an instant cash offer on your current vehicle. Do it all from home and save time at the dealership. Buy that new car, truck, or SUV that you really want to drive. Let us serve your needs today. Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, I-295 and Bay Meadows.
Water treatment systems are being advertised, sold, and installed, claiming to produce soft water. Some companies just filter out chemicals, taste, and odor, claiming to provide soft water. Well, true soft water is produced through a process called ion exchange, which uses low levels of salt during regeneration. Affordable Water is licensed to provide the highest quality water. Affordable Water will test your water at no charge and provide a quote at no obligation. Call Affordable Water at 904-262-0197. License number W32.
Wally Conway here, Mr. Home Inspection from Home Pro Inspections, with important information about home warranties. At Home Pro Inspections, we have always recommended that every home buyer had a home inspection and a home warranty. It's much like having a physical exam and health insurance. They work together to protect you. Until now, I have never referred or endorsed a home warranty company because, truthfully, they were all about the same. They were only good for 12 months, they had a long list of coverage exclusions, and they denied pre-existing conditions. The most comprehensive home warranty in America is now available in Jacksonville, covering items denied by others, including water softeners, well pumps, alarm systems, and there's no extra charge for multiple heat pumps or water heaters. When Home Pro inspects your home, the warranty is extended to 18 months of coverage at no extra charge. There is no better inspection and warranty package in America. For details and to order your home warranty, visit GoHomePro.com, GoHomePro.com, or call me at 268-8211.
Now, the WOKV First Alert Forecast.
An 8 on the WOKV weather meter. Mostly sunny, breezy, and chilly today. Highs in the upper 50s. Cold tonight. And inland frost and freeze where temperatures drop into the lower 30s. Mid to upper 30s for the intracoastal and the beaches. Your Sunday will be partly sunny. Pretty nice in the afternoon, reach near 60 degrees. Martin Luther King Day will be partly sunny, breezy, and cool in the upper 50s. Tuesday starts out with a bit of inland frost, then mostly sunny and milder, 60 to 65. And Wednesday will be partly sunny, with highs in the mid to upper 60s. With your First Alert Forecast, I'm Action News Jax, Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish for 104.5 WOKV.
Welcome back to the Home and Garden Show, 726, beautiful Saturday morning here at 104.5 WOKV. I'm Wally Conway from Home Pro Inspections. Larry O'Neill from Larry's Garden is here as always, enjoying the day. Love to hear from you. The phone number to check in is 855-765-1045. You know, Larry, irrigation, for those folks who are considering installing an irrigation system, if they have a do-it-yourselfer flare, the fact that it's cool out feels like a real nice time to do the work and a real nice time not to disturb things that may be dormant. Do you find this time of year to be advantageous to the end game of self-installed irrigation?
Yeah, it's a great time to be digging. I mean, it's, you don't even you don't even get tired out. There's so much difference when it's 60 degrees outside and you're working in the yard and when it's 100. Oh my gosh, it's an incredible difference. You know, I mean, speaking from experience, but if you want to, a good thing to do right now is, because you're not running irrigation as much, and you're not thinking about it, though, would be to check all your irrigation heads, see if they've been hit by a mower, and then check your spray heads. Just, a lot of times they get some calcification in there. Look at maybe adjusting them. And then if you've noticed dry spots in the summer, maybe moving or adding another head, to your irrigation system. You make sure you get complete coverage. And then those people who, like certain areas of town or certain areas in our have a lot of clay in the soil, where the soil is continuously wet, just continuously. I'm saying it hadn't rained in 3 weeks, and the soil still wet. You may think about trying not to run the irrigation at all in those areas. As I was working at a place, it hadn't just rained the other day, but it hadn't rained now in I think around 4 to 5 weeks in that area, and it was still moist. So I would say that would be a good candidate right there, either reducing the irrigation or changing the irrigation amount on that area. Between sides of houses that have swales and they have plants like ligustrum, sunviburnum, no irrigation is necessary. I'll go to these, zero, like in Nocatee, where they have zero, very close houses, almost zero lot line. They have ligustrum, they have ilex, they have various different drought-resistant plants, and they have irrigation, and they're usually the plant's going to be suffering from fungus on the leaves, some disease, and that can all be solved by turning off the irrigation there. It's just way too wet. Oftentimes the house sheds water off the roof in that area. Remove the irrigation. Any place, let's say after 3 to 4 weeks in the summer and it's still soggy, turn off the irrigation there. And you're going to save yourself a good amount of money over a period of time. Not a large amount, but reducing the irrigation is a good idea just for the health of the plants. It's not often where plants are going to suffer disease from drought, but it's going to be very, very often where plants are going to suffer disease from overwatering. Root problem.
And then you're into the expense of fungicides and replacement of plants that essentially get killed by overwatering.
It's like being on a hamster, one of those hamster things you put in the cage. You're just on that wheel trying, too much get rid of the irrigation in those spots, and everything will go back to normal. Maybe one application of fungicide, and things are going to go back to normal, and you save.
If a person would just imagine, if you always had wet feet, what would the health of your feet be? They'd be all wilty and fungus, and it would be terrible. You'd have trench foot like the soldiers had back in World War I. You want your feet to be able to dry out. You want your plants to be able to dry out appropriately. It's 7:31 here at News 104.5 on the Home and Garden Show. We've got Fox News traffic, weather, and more of the Home and Garden Show featuring you at 855-765-1045. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Fox News, I'm Karen McHugh. Some major changes in the way California distributes the coronavirus vaccine have begun.
Previously, under the strict tiered system, the focus was on getting all healthcare providers vaccinated first. The state now has restructured it to allow people 65 and older to get the shot.
Fox's Jeff Paul. Increased security in Washington, D.C. ahead of Wednesday's inauguration is already creating controversy for the incoming Biden administration.
In response to the attack on the Capitol, Joe Biden and some other members of Congress are joining calls for new domestic terrorism legislation that would give even greater power to law enforcement. But the ACLU is calling such a proposal a, quote, predictably misguided part of a decades-long pattern to give law enforcement agencies more authority.
Fox's Kevin Corke. America is listening to Fox News.
Tell us what you think about Fox Across America with Jimmy Fallon.
If you're yelling at Ice Cube for working with the Trump administration to help black Americans, you're an idiot.
Go to WOKV or the WOKV app right now and take our quick survey. Thanks for making 104.5 WOKV Jacksonville's news and talk the best it can be.
Finished a load of laundry. Drop the kids off at daycare, hit the gym for a quick workout, stop by Mickey D's to grab some breakfast, got to work before my boss did, and it's only 9 a.m. Meal.
There's a meal for every morning at McDonald's. Drive through and get a bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit, sausage McMuffin with egg, or bacon, egg, and cheese McGriddles. Any two for $4. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Prices and participation may vary. Limited time only. Cannot be combined with any of the offer or combo meal. Single item at regular price. Not valid for delivery.
Ma, it's a Mickey D's.
There's food at home. But there's no chicken McNuggets at home.
Okay, fine.
That's 2 10-piece chicken McNuggets. Have a nice day.
So who's gonna be sharing some of those chicken McNuggets?
I thought you said there was food at home.
You better watch it.
The you can't get this at home meal. Get it at McDonald's, where you can get 2 of your faves, like a 10-piece chicken McNuggets or a Big Mac for just $5. Price of participation may vary. Single item at regular price. Limited time offer. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Water treatment systems are being advertised, sold, and installed, claiming to produce soft water. Some companies just filter out chemicals, taste, and odor, claiming to provide soft water. Well, true soft water is produced through a process called ion exchange, which uses low levels of salt during regeneration. Affordable Water is licensed to provide the highest quality water. Affordable Water will test your water at no charge and provide a quote at no obligation. Call Affordable Water at 904-262-0197. License number W32.
And paid for by the Auto Warranty Helpline. In these hard economic times, you got to do whatever you can to save money. One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Due to the coronavirus and decline in the economy, we are announcing a new low-cost extended service plan to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on auto repairs. If you own a car, truck, or SUV made from 2000 or higher, you can stop paying for car repairs. That's right, you might not have to pay a penny to have your vehicle repaired. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call now to find out if your car qualifies. 800-550-8962. You must have an automobile made from 2000 or higher, and all repairs for your engine, transmission, and much more can become a thing of the past. Drivers who activate this coverage today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and free car rental at no additional cost. Call today to get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. 800-550-8962. That's 800-550-8962. Again, 800-550-8962.
For the ones standing guard. For the eagle-eyed. For the knights in shining armor. And for all those who support them. We are Grainger, your experienced safety partner, offering supplies and solutions for every industry, committed to helping keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com/safety, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Brought to you by Wakehoff's Air Conditioning. When your AC breaks, we get there fast.
Now, the WOKV First Alert Forecast.
Plenty of sun, but breezy and chilly today. Highs in the upper 50s and 8 on the WOKV weather meter. Cold tonight with an inland frost and freeze as temperatures drop into the lower 30s. It will stay in the mid to upper 30s for the intracoastal and the beaches. And your Sunday will be partly sunny and cool, a high of 59. Martin Luther King Day, Monday, partly sunny, breezy, cool in the upper 50s, a light inland frost Monday night. And then Tuesday will be mostly sunny with an afternoon high of 63. And Wednesday, partly sunny and milder, up to 67. From the First Alert Weather Center, I'm Action News Jax, Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish for 104.5 WOKV.
Welcome back to the Home and Garden Show. It is 7:36, beautiful Saturday morning in Jacksonville, Florida. Let's check in with Dre and see if we can help Dre get the brown leaves on his trees solved. Welcome to the Home and Garden Show, Dre.
Good evening, or good morning, I mean. I have a.
You working the night shift, Dre?
I work all shifts. Okay.
So, tell us about your tree. What kind of a tree you've got, and what are you seeing in the brown leaves?
I have a 3-prong palm. I forgot what kind they call it, but before the first freeze, it started getting brown leaves, and then it's just starting getting worse and worse. Is it dying?
What kind of tree is it?
It has 3 different kind of prongs. I forget what they named it.
Okay, I know what it is. It's a Phoenix Robolini. No, it's not dying. It's just cold. The Phoenix Robilinis are somewhat cold sensitive, and they survive in certain areas in our zone. They're better planted up against the house, but as soon as the spring comes, trim those leaves off, or they may recover. They got a little bit of bronzing on them, but it should spring right back with a little bit of fertilizer. If people have the Phoenix Robilini like you, and then they die back all the way, it's a good idea to treat the head with a little bit of fungicide a couple times. That will keep them from getting fungus in the crown. But no, it's just cold damaged, and it should be popped back in the spring, no problem. But and people who are thinking about them, plant them closer to the house and avoid that problem. All right?
Oh, okay, then thank you.
Good luck with it, Dre. So, appliances. There have been such challenges since the COVID issues have been around in getting appliances in your home. So the question becomes, what can we do to protect our appliances, the new appliances? What can we do to extend the life of our existing appliances? One of the greatest things you can do to protect and extend the life as well as performance and efficiency of your appliances is have soft water from Affordable Water. Well, how is it that soft water from Affordable Water extends the life of your appliances? I will share that with you. There are several ways that soft water from Affordable Water extends the life of your appliances. One, better heat transfer. What does that mean? In particular, in your water heater, you've got that electric element in there that's super hot to make the hot water, and the minerals in the water, if you have just a regular old municipal water or well water, the minerals in the water cake onto that element, and it essentially works to insulate the element from the water, which isn't what you want. You want heat transfer. And then as that scale builds up from the hard water, as it's heating and cooling and heating and cooling, that drops off and you get sediment in the bottom of your water heater to reduce the capacity of the water. Also, as the water is moving through it, that sediment from the hard water distributes through your pipes, and it reduces the flow of the water, messes up your faucet screen as well as your shower. Affordable Water, the soft water there, also helps extend the life because it reduces the corrosive action of those minerals. That makes it even better. Also, clogs and restrictions. It's very common in a person's home where they just don't quite get enough hot water out to the master bedroom or to the shower. And a piece of that is your hard water not coagulates, but accumulates right at the top of the water heater as it's beginning to come out. You have dissimilar metals up there, lots of science going on. And that hard water, it's almost like arterial sclerosis in your heart. It shrinks down the size of the pipe coming out of the water heater, so you can't get good flow. It's very common, regrettably, that someone says, hey, I got low flow, and they end up calling a plumber who may say, oh, we need to repipe, or oh, we need to change your water heater, when it's really just that valve at the top. But our friends at Affordable Water can solve that. And that soft water over time will even help to remove scale that has accumulated in your appliances, your water using appliances, your dishwasher, your refrigerator, ice maker, the water dispenser, the clothes washer. You're beginning a healing process of that soft water in removing accumulated scale. It's not as good as having it from the beginning, but it is a good thing to do. And you cannot get that protection of your appliances if you do not have a water softener. There's no amount of filtration, there's no amount of chemical removal that will do what soft water does. And that can only be accomplished through the ion exchange that goes on in a water softener. Friends at Affordable Water, we've known them, I've actually known them almost 30 years. Larry, just about as much. We know them, we like them, we trust them. Locally owned business using U.S. manufactured parts and equipment, and having the stock on hand and the talent on hand of their service department to service the equipment, not only the equipment they sell, but the equipment that you may have gotten from elsewhere. They can get it performing optimally in many cases, and in other cases it turns out the equipment truly isn't worth salvaging, but they'll give you that choice. The contact information for Affordable Water, here comes the website. affordablewaterjacks.com. The direct phone number is 262-0197. They are properly licensed at license number W32 and properly insured to protect you, not only your water, but ensuring that things are permitted and done correctly. affordablewaterjacks.com. Love these guys.
Yeah, you want to get the best drinking water in town for the cheapest dollar. Affordable Water will take care of that too for you.
Yeah, friends don't let friends buy bottled water. You create the plastic, and the truth of it is most bottled water is a municipal water source that has just been filtered. It is rare to purchase water that has been properly softened to remove the minerals in a bottled water environment. And much of the labeling on bottled water is a little bit bogus also. They do regulate the term spring water, but most of the other terms are pretty bogus, and you're buying municipal good old water that they've filtered. And if you want to just have filtered tap water, Affordable Water will do it for you cheaper and better. So do that.
You know, I was looking at a fence that was, been made by a client, but he pointed out something to me that I forgot. We always promote staining and painting of fences because, it adds life to it, especially in the fences that are exposed to sunlight. Unlike water, the sun is probably more damaging to the fence than actual water. But some of the things that he pointed out, which was a great thing about staining a fence, is that when you stain a fence, the gate is so much lighter that you never have any problems with the hinges not being able to open the gate because
you're not doing so much water absorption. Yeah.
Exactly. And when he mentioned it, I realized it because one of my gates is not partially stained and partially just for the color, but it's not as easily functioning. But the areas that are any gate that we put up, we stained. It works perfectly. Some of the things, if you're doing your own fence, that you could do as a homeowner. Remember, because a lot of people are putting some fences up. I went to the Home Depot the other day, and there's so many homeowners buying fence materials. I couldn't believe it. But top coating that first 12 inches of post with roofing sealant is your best bet for keeping that post in good shape for an extra, few years, 5 or 6 years. Remember, pressure treated wood is not the same as it was 10 years ago. 100%. I mean, I've noticed the difference of some of the wood that we put out in projects is rapidly decaying. Also, in your fence, when you put up your fence, you got your stringer there. You want to right in the middle of the panel. You want to cut a piece of small 2x4, and on the bottom stringer, you want to insert that right underneath there and wedge that up real good with a brick underneath there. It keeps the end of it off the ground and dry, but that will keep it from sagging. You look at every wooden fence, and the best day they're in, the first day is the best day, and after that, there's water absorption, sagging, heat. They'll start to look a little saggy like the old gray mare. But put that little block right underneath there, a little piece of brick that will keep the fence from sagging over the next, hopefully you get maybe 15 to 20 years out of that fence. And then also, again, let it dry out, put some stain on it, some painting it. It adds so much to the landscape and it looks so much better, and you're going to get an extra, 5 to 6 years out of it. It's going to be worth the extra expense and look good during that period of time. So you guys,
it's like everything else. It's the prep work and the maintenance. And I watch a lot of people let those stockade fences. They weren't installed really with these preventatives in mind, and they start to look a little bit ratty, and then they decide to stain it. And back to your old gray mare reference, that turns out that kind of the mare has left the barn. Once it begins to rot and sag, corrective action is very difficult in the fence.
She ain't what she used to be, Well, then on polyvinyl fencing, that's really popular. During this time of year, a lot of times it's a good idea to take a little bit of light pressure washer out there and clean it off, get the algae. On the northern side of the fence, they will accumulate algae and dust, and you'll get a much cleaner look. So, or you can put some spread it and forget it, or what is it? Wet it and forget it.
Wet and forget. Yeah.
They have a fertilizer called Spread It and Forget It. I keep mixing them up. Spread it and forget it, and then Wet It and Forget It. But you can spray your fence with that, and clean the algae and the off there, the mold, anything like that. And then, like pressure washing, scrubbing it over, makes it look a lot sharper during the year. Oiling up
I was in Costco earlier this week, and they had a big sale on Wet It and Forget It in a pretty good size pail, or whatever you want to call it, jug. But it's on sale at Costco, or at least it was earlier in the week. They carry it, very affordable, and that stuff just works great. I've never had the experience, and Larry, I don't think you have either, where we've referred Wet It and Forget It, and we got anything other than glowing feedback. The only thing that sometimes people forget about, it's called Wet It and Forget About It. It's not called Wet It and instantly it flashes clean.
Right. It takes a little bit of time.
Be patient.
I want to mention a company that we've bought some of our steel equipment from, Ag Pro on Phillips Highway. I took my my steel chainsaw in there, and you're talking about quick turnaround service. A lot of times I take my equipment in to get repaired or get it serviced. It takes weeks sometimes, even though they're fixing it in their shop. They got a long line, but Ag Pro took a chainsaw and then boom, 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 and it was done. So, if you have steel equipment and you wanted to get it serviced and you wanted to get it done quick, Ag Pro on Phillips Highway, they did an amazing job and fast. Because I don't like to be without chainsaw. Even though I have 4 chainsaws, I like them all working. Sometimes we'll have one problem with one and another problem with another. Put them in the service, then we're down to 2. But they got it in. Took it in. They got it out. It was quick. So if you got steel equipment, you want to get it fixed, go there.
Yep. If you go where the pros go, professional, landscape professional, anything for that matter, home inspectors, professional people tend to go to places that have a rapid turnaround and tend to favor places that it's fixed right the first time. So when you get endorsements from people whose livelihood depends upon the equipment, that tends to be the equipment that performs, and the folks that service for the professionals tend to be the service places that likewise perform. It's 7:50 here at News 104.5 on the Home and Garden Show. Brief break, jumping back for the final segment of the Home and Garden Show, and it looks like Jack on the West Side is going to check in. That's always a wonderful call. We'll be right back.
You want the weather? Yes. Good news. We'll give it to you every 6 minutes on Jacksonville's Morning News with Rich Jones. Weekdays from 5 till 9 a.m. on 104.5 WOKV, Jacksonville's News and Talk.
As a woman, you've spent years taking care of everyone else. When you retire, it's finally your turn. And here's a little secret. Women and men have different needs and different emotions when it comes to retirement. What to do? Listen to Woman's Worth Radio each Sunday at 10 a.m. Woman's Worth founder Jeanette Bajalia believes your retirement isn't just about the money. It's about your total health. Woman's Worth Radio, Sundays at 10 a.m.
Hey, it's for us guys, too.
Listen to Woman's Worth Radio this Sunday at 10 a.m.
Millennium Physician Group is the largest independent comprehensive physician group in Florida. And now in Northeast Florida, we have offices in 5 counties to make sure your primary care health needs are covered. Learn more about Millennium Physician Group by tuning in to our Destination Health radio show Saturdays at 5 p.m. on WOKV 104.5. Be part of the health and wellness conversations and learn more about how Millennium makes you a priority. We're here to connect you to a healthier life. Learn more about us at millenniumphysician.com.
Never paint your house again.
Hey, this is Rick and Jay Mariano with Rhino Shield, and we just want to wish everyone a Happy New Year.
This year kicks off our 21st year in business here in Florida, and we just want to say thank you to all of our customers.
That's right, Jay, because that means our customers continue to trust us to protect and beautify their homes with the most scientifically advanced coating.
It's not just the best coating you can put on your house, we also have the best warranty.
And you know the tired old saying, new year, new you. Well, when it comes to Rhino Shield, it's a new year, new hue, because it comes in hundreds of designer colors.
2020 was a challenging year, so kick off the year right with 1 year same as cash, 25% off, and a 25-year warranty.
How about this for a New Year's resolution? Make 2021 the year you decided you'll never have to paint again. Call Rhino Shield today.
Oh, and don't forget, call our Shark Floor Coatings division for your garage, driveway, pool deck, or patio.
Water treatment systems are being advertised, sold, and installed, claiming to produce soft water. Some companies just filter out chemicals, taste, and odor, claiming to provide soft water. Well, true soft water is produced through a process called ion exchange, which uses low levels of salt during regeneration. Affordable Water is licensed to provide the highest quality water. Affordable Water will test your water at no charge and provide a quote at no obligation. Call Affordable Water at 904-262-0197. License number W32.
Want to start the new year on a high note? Then come on down to Take 5, the stay-in-your-car 10-minute oil change. At Take 5, you're alone in your car the entire time you're here, so you can hit all the high notes you want.
La 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 la.
Just make sure your windows are rolled up, or you run the risk of our crew members joining in for a duet. They tend to do this.
He saw it coming,
Yes, I did.
and he loves it.
Visit T5offer.com to get 25% off any oil change. Take 5, the stay-in-your-car 10-minute oil change.
When you own a business with your name on it, there's nowhere to hide. You either go above and beyond for your customers, work the late shifts and weekends, and demand perfection out of yourself and your team, or you don't last. Hi, everybody. Brian Kilmeade here. And here's what I know about Rick Wakehoff. Over the last 20 years, he's built Wakehoff's Air Conditioning into Jacksonville's premier air conditioning company. Rick and his team will not compromise. They outperform the competition to be the most clean, smart, and professional AC company out there. It's why so many of your neighbors rely on Wakehoff's. They'll tell you that Wakehoff's is there when you need them the most and standing by even when you don't need them. Wakehoff specializes in residential AC service and installation. It's what they do each and every day, which is why they're the best at it. Wakehoff's focuses on the things that matter most, like great customer experience that's always pleasant and professional. Over 1,800 Google reviews back up the excellent service that Wakehoff's offers. So call Rick. Call him and his team today, 880-5525, or visit wakehoffsac.com.
Now, the WOKV First Alert Forecast.
An 8 on the WOKV weather meter. Mostly sunny, breezy, and chilly today. Highs in the upper 50s. Cold tonight. And inland frost and freeze where temperatures drop into the lower 30s. Mid to upper 30s for the intracoastal and the beaches. Your Sunday will be partly sunny. Pretty nice in the afternoon to reach near 60 degrees. Martin Luther King Day will be partly sunny, breezy, and cool in the upper 50s. Tuesday starts out with a bit of inland frost, then mostly sunny and milder, 60 to 65. And Wednesday will be partly sunny with highs in the mid to upper 60s. With your First Alert forecast, I'm Action News Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish for 104.5 WOKV.
Welcome back to the Lemon Garden Show, 755 at 104.5 WOKV. Larry O'Neill from Larry's Gardens here. Wally Conway from Home Pro Inspections is here. Looking for Larry during the week. Larry'sGarden.com. Home Pro Inspections during the week. Or right now, for that matter. Same with Larry. Go HomePro.com. Let's head over to the west side and check in with the third amigo of the Home and Garden Show. Jack on the west side's got some weed problems going on. Welcome, Jack.
Good morning, gentlemen. Great show as usual. Got a question for Larry there. I got some Gerber daisies and some lilies planted in the garden, trying some irises. They're all underground where they need to be in this good cold weather. But I got dollarweed growing on top of them. What can I do? If I spray the dollarweed, am I going to kill the others when they finally come up?
Well, you can be very careful when you spray. You know, when you put if you got your pump up sprayer, just touch the wand to the dollarweed, and each leaf, and then you'll probably not have a problem with that. They have a little attachment that you can buy from some pump up sprayers that is a cone shape. You just set it over the top of that, press to the ground, and it sprays that zone, and it doesn't get anywhere. But in order to take care of your dollarweed right now, you want to make sure that the weather is in your favor when you spray herbicide, especially dollarweed. You want to make sure it's at least 70 degrees or warmer, 73 degrees when you spray. because if you spray now, it's not going to have much of an effect. When the weather is in the 50s and the low 60s, you know, the plant is kind of somewhat dormant and it will not absorb any of the herbicide. So, you know, you got to be careful on the temp. You know, to be successful and not having to do it more than once, you know, make sure you got the weather is in your favor by temperature. All right?
Yeah, we're going to take a couple of days then before it gets back up to the 70s, I think.
Yeah. Because I've sprayed herbicide during when it was like 50 and 40 degrees, and it just didn't have any effect at all, you know, because of the temperature.
Sorry about that, and that's why I call and ask the experts.
All right. No problem. Thank you, Jack, for giving us a call.
Hey, Jack, how's
Have a
the
great
plumbing
weekend now.
working out? Jack, you having still continued success after your waistline plumbing repair? It's going good?
Yeah, that's doing great. Sent you an email. I got another problem, but maybe you can help me out on that one.
I'll have to check for it. I didn't see it. Would you send it again just to make sure it didn't get lost in spam?
Yes, sir, I will.
All right. Thanks, man. Appreciate you.
Y'all take care now. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye. Hopefully Jack's all recovered from the election. He was working hard there as a poll worker. This is probably one of the most challenging years we've had in history for poll workers and whatnot. And ideally, we'll have a real good week this week. People will be friendly and peaceable rather than go out and do destructive things. Be a great time to work in the garden. Any frustrations you have that may have occurred for the election cycle, get on out in the yard, get a shovel, get out in the house and do a little caulking. Caulking is always good for the soul, makes you feel good and get things moving in the right direction. Grateful that you've been with us. And speaking of going in the right direction, when you're in your vehicle, going wherever you go, as you choose the direction that you're going to turn, what should they be doing, Larry?
Use their turn signal.
Use your turn signal. It's 7:59. Have a beautiful day. We'll see you next week, 6 to 8 a.m. on the Home and Garden Show, 104.5 WOKV.
WOKV-FM Atlantic Beach, broadcasting from the Talon Wealth Management Studio. Listen everywhere in the WOKV app, 104.5 WOKV, a Cox Media Group station.